This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your me, Louie T. Welcome to Lockdown Coverage Week number 13. National Football League. Cleveland Browns taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Much closer game than a lot of people probably expected. Browns play some good defense, though. They play quality defense. They give their team a chance most weeks, and it's the inability of the offense and special teams to be consistent that usually haunts this football team week in and week out, and the reason that they're 0-12, currently the only winless team in the league. Let's start with the Chargers in this game. Number one, the uniforms that they wore. God, those were crispy. Want to see those more often. Those were gorgeous. Number two, they're a good football team, but they're missing some stuff. Like, they allowed the Browns to hang around in this game for far too long. And if this weren't the Browns, they would have lost this game. They probably, because the Browns got down there not once but twice and soiled themselves like they always do. Kaiser with just a bonehead decision to roll out of the pocket and stand there as if no one's coming. And Bosa takes and knocks the football away. And the Chargers tried to bungle that whole recovery process. Almost didn't recover it inbounds, which would have allowed the Browns to at least get a field goal attempt and cut it to a one-score game. Then the Browns get down there again, and Kaiser throws an interception. I didn't have as much problem with the interception because at that point in the game, he was trying to force something. Late in the game, you're trying to make something happen. I don't want you to throw a pick, but I get the rationale behind it. But the fumble was the bigger problem there. And the Chargers never really put them away. I'm going to tell you right now, Coons, your kicker, he seems like a bum and a problem moving forward. Your kicker situation stinks. You haven't been able to fix that for 2 years now. You've got to do something. That's a problem. He looked shaky all day, missed the first field goal, and all the ones that he made, they even looked problematic, and they were close. They were all close. He didn't have, if he would have had a 45, 49, 51 yarder somewhere in there, he would have missed. So you need to get that fixed. But what can you do? I think you're going to be rolling. I think his name's Travis Coons. What a name. That's a terrible name. Anyway, good luck with that. That looks like that's going to cost you a game at some point down the stretch. But I committed a criminal act. And if I want to be forgiven for that sin, I need to repent and I need to explain myself. So I made a list. I have a program called The List. And one of the shows that I did was Best Receivers in the League. And on my list consists of 7. This particular list had a tie for number 7. And I wanted to put in 3 guys, but I said, no, we're not doing a 3-way tie. We're doing a 2-way tie. And so that meant I had to pick between 2 receivers. And those 2 receivers were Michael Thomas of the New Orleans Saints and Keenan Allen of the Los Angeles Chargers. And I wanted to pick Keenan Allen so bad because I know what kind of a player he is. But in the back of my mind, I said, is he going to stay healthy? I couldn't be sure of that. So I went with Michael Thomas. He plays with Drew Brees. He's going to get a ton of targets. He's a big physical guy. Good offense. He stays healthy. I'm going to roll with the youngin. That's a criminal act. I left Keenan Allen off of that list. That was a criminal act. What Keenan Allen has done these past 3 weeks. Here I proceed. I feel bad. The man is balling right now. It's ridiculous. Lighten everybody up. That comes to an end next week, I believe, against the Redskins. I don't think he's going to have 12 catches for $1 and some change. He might. I don't see it happening. But it could happen. I take that back because I could see him blessing Bashad Breeland. I don't see him killing Josh Norman like that, but that'll be fun to watch either way. But he is destroying corners right now, and Phillip Rivers is finding them. And me leaving him off that list, it seems criminal right now. I have my reasons, but I don't care. It's criminal. This Chargers defense is getting better. I'm still not sold that they're that great, but they're getting better. Josh Gordon was going to work. We'll talk about him in a second when we get to the Browns. There's actually a reason to talk about the Browns this week. But all in all, the Chargers did what they needed to do to win. It wasn't pretty, but most Chargers games aren't. But it was gritty and a dub, and they're now 6-6. And now we can start having a playoff discussion because they've made it back to 500. It's been a long trek after 0-4. It's been a long uphill climb and battle. But unlike last year where you were unable to complete the track and get back to 500, you've done it this season. Now the question becomes, can you make the full recovery all the way back to the top by yourself and win this division? You're the best team in the division. You're the best team in the division. Can you prove that in wins and losses? At some point, you have to get tired of moral victories. Man, the Chargers are the best fill-in-the-blank team. No one wants to play the Chargers. They might have the best pass rushing duo in the league. We'll prove it by winning games. Enough of the moral victories in Los Angeles. Win games. That's what it's about. Not having one of the best receivers or having Phillip Rivers or having one of the best pass rushing duos. Have all that translate into winning games. It's been happening of late. Got to keep it going. But this Chargers team, they've got something to them. They're missing some stuff, but they've got something to them. Like Aaron Eckler, no. That's one of those Charger guys that you just say, why? And they have these guys every year. Just a bunch of guys like Dontrell Inman where you're like, no. They do it every year. Some guy you've never heard of getting a bunch of snaps. They used to do it with the other guy that got injured at the running back position. They just find these unknown, unheralded, undrafted guys, throw them on the field, and we're supposed to just accept it. No. But I will say that Eckler does look like he can be a problem. He's a little shifty, jitterbug type guy. But in any event, they get it done. Wasn't pretty, but like I said, gritty and a dub, 19-10 over the Browns. So the Browns, another loss in a game that you could have easily have won. And I've told you this a number of times. You've got talent. This team isn't short of talent. It's just putting it all together. Your tight end position might be among, if we make a list of teams with the most talented tight ends, Browns are on that list in the top 5. Between Njoku and DeValve, those boys are talented. Rams have some talented pass catchers. Redskins have talented pass catchers at the tight end position. Gronk by himself is a problem. The Chiefs have some really talented pass catchers. The Browns are in there, man. Just between Seth DeValve and David Njoku, they've got pass catchers at the tight end position. Josh Gordon looks like he's back. The Josh Gordon I saw the last 2 times when he came back, wasn't impressed. He wasn't, Flash! Gordon! He looks the part. Now, they started off like gangbusters, and towards the end, they couldn't buy a catch. Him and Kaiser couldn't get on the same page, but you could tell they made a concerted effort to try to get him to rock, and he looks like he's ready to make plays. I was impressed. I'm looking forward to watching Browns games now just to see what Josh Gordon does. You've got talent at the running back position in Duke Johnson, who I absolutely love, and Isaiah Crowell, who I think is a phenomenal underrated back as well. So there's talent littered all over that Browns offense. Defensively, you've made leaps and bounds this year. You know, Joe Schobert got a sack, forced fumble. You got Myles Garrett getting pressure. You got guys getting pressure, getting up to the quarterback. It's a ton of talent on that defense as well. Not enough, though. Okay, not enough, especially in that secondary. I worry about your secondary. You saw that by the way Keenan Allen destroyed your secondary. And I also thought that there was another good tight end in this game on the opposite side for the Chargers. His name's Hunter Henry. And he also had a field day on your defense. So you struggle in the secondary, which has been probably your biggest problem all year long. You stopped the run for the most part. Your problem is stopping the other team from throwing the football, but you didn't allow them to make a bunch of big plays. You didn't allow them to score a bunch of points. You kept it close. You gave yourself a chance. And in typical Browns fashion, you found a way to throw this game away. You get down there, down 19-10. And really, where this game was lost, you take the lead at 7-6 right before the half with 1:55 left. And you let Phillip Rivers march them down the field and get a field goal. Okay, it happens. It's 9-7. You're losing now. But you let them double dip. Don't let them double dip. So you go from up 7-6 to down 16-7 before you even sniff the rock again on offense. Because they scored right before the half, they got it after the half, and then they put another drive on your ass, scored a touchdown. And boom, just like that, you go from winning 7-6 to down 16-7 without your offense seeing the field. That's a tough thing to stomach because you had momentum on offense, and before you could even capitalize on it, it was gone and you were down 9. That's where the game was lost. And before you scored again, you were down 19-7. But even after that, you scratched and you clawed your way back in 19-10, and you get all the way down. They put together a long 13-play drive. You get all the way down there, and DeShone Kizer, who I think is playing some of his best football of his young career in his rookie season, these last 3 games, Detroit, there was a stinker in there. I take that back because I think Detroit was like a month ago. That Jacksonville game was a stinker. I don't know if he was that bad, but I don't think he was that good either. But I thought you played well last week. 2 weeks prior against Detroit, I thought was arguably his best game of the season. He's coming along. Now, it's not resulting in a win yet, but he's coming along. But he made a big mistake there. And again, he's a youngin. He's a youngin. He'll learn. That's how you learn, by making those types of mistakes. You hate that it cost you a ball game, but it had to happen for him to learn. So now you go back to the drawing board and you tell him, hey, you can't do that. You can't roll out of the pocket and then sit and chill. Blake Bortles did it a couple of years ago. He had to learn the hard way against the Ravens. Don't go out in the pocket and sit and chill. That's how you get stripped. And Bosa had to be the one to show you that. And so that was a huge play. Because even if you don't come away with a touchdown on that possession, a field goal cuts it to 1 score. It gives you a chance to potentially win. After that, you didn't have a chance to win because there are no 9-point plays in football. There are no ways to get 9 points off of one possession. So that one stung. And then the interception at the end, it is what it is. But Josh Gordon looks good. Kizer's getting better. And this defense is giving you a shot. You got a shot to beat Green Bay next week. No Aaron Rodgers. Brett Hundley stinks. Just stop the run, and you got a shot next week. You do. But the Chargers find a way to get it done, 19-10, get back to 500 at 6-6, get a share of first place in the AFC West with the Raiders and Chiefs. And they got the Redskins this week. That's a very winnable football game there. They can get to 7-6. They're setting up a showdown with the Raiders and Chiefs for this division down the stretch. They play both of those teams, both of them, in Los Angeles. Well, they don't play the Chiefs in Los Angeles. They got to go to Kansas City. But they play the Raiders in Los Angeles. That's not going to be a home game. That's going to be a road game. Raiders are going to take over your stadium. So, but you're used to that. So, You're the best team in that division. Find a way to win it. You've come all this way. Might as well win the division while you're here, right? Browns still winless, 0-12 now. And I still feel like you're going to get somebody. You're going to win a game. And next week might be that time. I can see you beating Green Bay. I really can. But we'll see what happens. Let's get to any comments that may be out there. Shouldn't be much. Cloud says, Josh Gordon really had a good game. I was impressed. I was really impressed with Josh Gordon. I wasn't expecting much because the last 2 times I had seen him, he looked out of shape. He didn't look motivated. He looked like a shell of himself. He looked, and they told me that he was back, like cooked crack. I didn't believe him. He's legit back. He looks good. Cloud also says Keenan Allen needs to stay healthy. Would be a top 5 wide receiver if he could stay healthy. Facts. John Perez says, should Hugh Jackson be back in Cleveland next year? I'd like to see them give him one more year with Kaiser and allow him to stay in a system. That's part of the reason the Browns stink. Too much change. Too many knee-jerk reactions to coaches. Too many changes. Too many guys not getting the opportunity to grow in one system. You want to continue to struggle and lose? Keep switching coaches. Keep changing offensive philosophies. The defense is good. Let them stay with Greg Williams. Let them continue to grow. Let Hugh Jackson continue to grow Deshaun Kaiser. If he's the guy, if he's not the guy, whatever the case may be, figure it out, but give Hugh Jackson a shot. I don't love Hugh like I did going into the job, but I still think Hugh knows what he's doing on offense. So, will he get another shot? Do I think he gets another shot? And does he get a shot are 2 different questions. I think he should, but it wouldn't shock me if he did. It's Cleveland, so there's that. But in any event, Chargers get to win 19-10, back to 500 at 6-6, 3-way tie for first place in the AFC West. That's going to be a fascinating watch down the stretch in the final 4 weeks of the season. Meanwhile, Browns 0-12, and that's a fascinating watch down the final quarter of the season as we look to see if they can find a way to win a game. I think they get one somewhere. Don't know when. Don't ask me who, but I think they get someone. Green Bay could be that someone next week. Browns 0-12. Chargers 6-6. I'm your man, Louie T. One more game to break down in Week 13. Lockdown coverage. Rams, Cardinals coming at you next. See you in a bit.